or should we go through the presentation to start with just to kind of set the stage? What do you recommend, Glenn?
I'm gonna, because I know the product so well at this point, I think that covering topics, I think for James, and James, correct me if I'm wrong, you're most interested in seeing um, how the template builder works. Hello?
Yeah, I'm here. James, can you please speak up? No. Okay.
Hi there. I'm here. Sorry about that. Yes, that's correct. Just the final product, the user experience, the user interface, just to see what the templates actually look like when they're sent out.
Okay. All right. So just to go through a very high level, how to send mass email to MassMailer, right? Let's cover that, and then we can hop onto the template builder as we go through the steps here, right? So as you all know, MassMailer is meant to send mass emails, right? A mass email campaign through Salesforce. There are two ways to send it. One is to the wizard, another one is through the standard Salesforce campaign tab. I'm going to cover the email wizard to start with here. So let's say you want to send out email to lead, contact, or user, and then pick the object, which object you want to send email to, and then you have to select your recipient. So by default, you would see all. So you can pick and choose one of the views that you created. If you have not done that, you can always go create one. By giving the name, you can say free demo view or something, and then you can give the respective filters. For example, then I'll say the email contains some value, and I will preview the results, and it shows the results at the bottom of the screen. And if I'm satisfied, I would just say save, and that becomes my view, right? And the next screen is where you would specify your template. And the basic editor is the basic editor, but the advanced editor has got a lot more features, right? You can select the folder and the template. So let's say we pick an advanced template editor, so advanced template from this folder. And I'm going to switch to the advanced editor because the one that I'm picking is an advanced template. So please remember that once you create a template using the advanced editor, you can't use it in the basics because it's more like it works only in the advanced one, formatting and everything. So let's say we pick up a template, and I'm going to just go pick something that already exists, and it just loads up into the advanced editor right there. You can make any changes if needed because we have all the edit function right here in this plugin. You can drag and drop and make some changes, which I'm going to show you how to do it. And then you just save this, save your work, and then you go to the next step. And then here you just have to give what is the campaign name. And you have an option to send as the logged-in user. This is editable. All these three fields are editable. You can also have a global sender if needed, and lead owner or the organization address. You can do BCC as well. This is BCC the only one when you select any of these options. You can send it to a specific email group. I think this is also one of the interesting features that you have. You can say that, hey, this particular email actually belongs to the youth program, and I want to make sure that I send to only those people who actually did not subscribe to the youth program. You can select that and then send it now or schedule it on a specific date and time. Let's say you're going to actually just send none in this scenario, and you say you want to send it now, and then you just submit, and the email gets scheduled, right? So that's the standard feature of the mass email through the wizard. You can do the same thing in the campaign as well. But I will stop there and ask you if you have any questions so far.
Seems pretty forthcoming now. Thank you.
Okay, cool. Yeah, now moving on to the template builder. So I've seen customers who came from MailChimp and they've compared the editor with the campaign, the MassMailer template editor versus the MailChimp. And I've done it myself. I actually pulled up this the MailChimp editor right here so that we can actually see the differences. Yeah. So let's say you want to build a template, right? There are two options. If you pick this folder, that's the first step, and you can create a brand new template by selecting this option. And here you can actually do it from scratch, your own, by putting all the content sections in the content. Or you can pick one of the templates that we have. Right now, I think we have 7 of them. We are adding 13 more, so you'll see total 20 templates very soon. Let's say you pick up basic newsletter, yeah? And it has its own, like the standard look and feel. But you don't have to follow this. Just let me know. You can always build your own. It's quite easy to do it. And let's say we're gonna give a name to that, something like this, and a subject. And then we keep going here to edit the specific template, yeah? So let's say you want to add like an image. So you can go select this particular item. This is already an image, and you can change the image by clicking on that button. And then you can bring up your own logo. For example, let's take that, right? And this is, again, you have all other small nitty-gritty properties for the image, such as the width. An example, you don't want the auto width, and you want to adjust the width. All you need to do is drag and drop like this, right? And then you want to choose the full width on the bill, you can do that, or you can just use the way it is, yeah? You can do the alignment, and then you can also have the actual URL, where is it pointing to, the image link, and then all text. So it's quite easy to actually update the image properties. And same thing, if you want to change the background of this, all you need to do is select this and then say, hey, I want a different background, and select what background it is, and it gets changed, right? And similarly, any other content items. Let's say this is, again, an image. Let's delete this. And if you wanted, say, maybe like a video, all you need to do is just drag and drop the video, and then you get the video, the content item. You just have to enter the URL. If it is based on YouTube or Vimeo, then we show it right there. But if you actually wanted to link a video on a website or somewhere, you can do that by giving a URL to that video. Do you mind holding in a quick second? Just a moment, please. Yes.
Okay.
Sorry for that, I'm back. So let's say if you have a YouTube video, and then MassMailer, let's pick one of these links, and then you enter that URL, and it kind of loads the image automatically for you, right? And other content items such as divider, it's so easy to just drag and drop, and you get a divider. So, for example, you want another content item right there. You just drag and drop rows. You're going to come to this row in a moment, and you just drag and drop like a divider right there. Right. Same thing with social icons. So it's it's again a drag and drop kind of a thing, and you get to choose the social icons. If you don't like the blue, you have other options of selecting different colors. And then once you have them, you just have to go change the specific URL for each one of those social icons. Yeah. And what else? Let's talk about the row. Yeah. So we have given you the basic level rows that you can drag and drop. That way you don't have to really rely on the template that we provide to you. Because, I mean, typically, you can't grow more than 4 content blocks in any email. I mean, that's the maximum you can really, human beings can comprehend, right? So we have up to 4. So 1, and then the 2, you have different bits, and the 3 and the 4. So anytime you want something, you just drag and drop, and then you keep changing in each and every content block. All you need to do is, let's say you want a button. You just drag and drop the button, and then click on that and change the properties at that level. Let's say this button is actually going to go to an email. You just start to say, hey, I actually want to send an email or make a call, send an SMS, open a web page. So it shows different link types, and you just fill in the information. That's it. Changing the content is quite easy. All you need to do is just go change right there. You highlight the button, right? And then you just have to edit this content. Same thing with the width. If you if you actually want to have your own width, you just have to keep changing the width how much you want. It goes up to whatever the content block size is. If you all want to change this, the entire the content width, you just have to go to settings and say, hey, I actually want more. You just drag it, and then it keeps going. And you can change the entire background color, the default font you have, and the link color. All of that can be done at the overall template settings. This is called template settings, and then this is the actual content items, and this is the rows. So the only 3 things that you really have to work on. And then the image, also it's pretty easy. All you have is, when you want to change image, you just have to go, click on this, change image, and then you have an option to upload it from your computer, or you can actually import it from one of your sources, like a storage sources that you may have, such as the Dropbox, Google Drive, OneDrive, Box, whatever you guys are using, or maybe just the URL. Maybe you have it in a URL, you can just pick it from there, or take a picture, right? And then you can also create folders. So these folders are basically the folders that you define for your own company, right? So to start with, just say demo folder, and then okay, what is this? Seems like the same name exists, but it is not given error. So and then you just have to drag and drop. And we have a button to search the free photographs if you want it. So you just click on it and you can pull it up from one of these 3 options. You can search them, right? So that's about the images in the folders. And you have an option to preview right here. You can preview on mobile and desktop and see how it looks. And if you're good, you just have to save this. Save it to the editor. So saving is actually a 2-step process. You click on this button to save it to the editor because it's a plugin. And then you want to save it to the Salesforce because we picked up the Salesforce folder and we've given a name. So you want to save it to Salesforce by clicking on this button, save to Salesforce. And when you click on this button, it actually name contains underscores. All right. So we have to take out the template name, underscore, and then say to Salesforce. So it kind of spins the wheel. The bug that we noticed that's actually fixed. So we can upgrade it to the latest version. Basically, just try to click it twice, and then it works. But this issue got fixed out. So basically, that's why you save it. Save your work to the editor, and then save to Salesforce, and you're good to go. So once you have this created, then you can reuse it in the wizard that we already seen earlier, how to load up the template from any Salesforce template folder. So any questions here so far?
Siva, thank you for the tour demo so far. I do have a question about the video feature. In MailChimp, it links out to a blank target, so it's not actually embedded, I imagine, for the file size. Is it embedded here as well, or is it just an image that links out to like YouTube or wherever it's hosted?
So when you receive the video, it actually, I think, let's open. It's, I mean, you're talking about this. So when you click on this, it actually opens up YouTube.
Okay.
It's not the inline. Yeah, it's not the inline. Yeah.
Great.
And I mean, since you're already familiar with MailChimp, I'm sure you can appreciate how easy it is to update the changes that you make and to the content items. I mean, like, imagine you wanted like an image, an example, right? And this is image. And if you needed to change this, you have so many other things that you need to click and the settings. It's not user-friendly. I've noticed this myself. I'm not trying to run out others' products. All I'm saying is, I know it's a great product. It's a great product, a great editor. We were actually trying to go this approach initially. I know that they use CK editor behind the scenes, but it is more like a rich text editor, and the MailChimp has kind of built some of the templates on their own, and that's how they came up with the solution. So we decided not to go that approach. We also partner with another company called B3 Editor, and they actually built the email template editor from scratch, so that you really don't have to do all this, extra work. And we felt that it's actually much easier for the customers. Yeah. Okay.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Hey, Siva, this is Karen. I have a question. I was wondering, like, when you're building this template, can you move things around within it? Like, let's say I had like a photo at the top and then some text, and I kind of finished it, and then I want to like move. Can I adjust things around, or do I have to like delete them and recreate them?
You can, provided you have them in sections. So let's try to load it up. I think this is the one that we tried to create earlier. And as long as so that's the reason why you have these rows. I'll show it to you what I mean. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, for an example, you have the inner content item. This is a text item, and this is an image, and this is actually the row that we created. You see this? The moment I click the outer thing, it highlighted and it brought up this row. Yeah. So if you want to drag this and put it in a different, I know this my browser is actually not helping me. Let's see. Yeah. I actually just moved it horizontal from here to down. So you just have to drag and drop. Maybe here.
So basically you can like take an entire row and like rearrange the order of things in like big chunks.
Yeah.
Okay,
you can move. So you can move it. All the rows that you have, you can move it. No problem. Yeah.
Awesome. And can you also like in MailChimp, like you can like edit photos and things? Can you do that as well? Or does like your photo, like however you upload it, is that how it is?
You can. I mean, like any other, so there's a button called Apply Effects and More. So you just have to select the image and then click on this. It brings up the editor, the image editor. something weird happening on this browser.
Oh no.
I had to check this. I never seen this before. I know it works.
Yeah, I can see it like when it flashes up on there. Okay, cool. That answers my question.
Right. Yeah. It's similar to what you may see in the other MailChimp editor, but I mean, personally, I've seen that this is actually much quicker to load up.
Yeah, theirs is very slow.
Yeah.
It's
Right,
really a pain to work with. This looks like it's a lot easier to maneuver around. And I like it that you can just put like a video in and have it play versus what I used to have to do. This is really good. Thank
I
you.
want to jump in. Karen had a question yesterday, Siva, when we were talking, and it has to do with opt-out. And I know that she was concerned in regards to if someone opts out of one email, and she has other emails that she wants to send, whether that would opt them out permanently from the other emails. In talking with Madison yesterday, I know there's a way to unsubscribe from one email but still receive the other emails. Can you touch on that?
Sure.
Thanks,
Yeah. Yeah. We call that as unsubscribe groups. Yeah. So basically, when you go to MassMailer setup, under tracking settings, there's something called unsubscribe groups. So once you created these groups, and these get stored in Salesforce as unsubscribe groups in an object, and anyone unsubscribes from a specific group, we flag them as a suppressed email. So for an example, this email address unsubscribed from this group, so we flag it. And this person is not unsubscribed. Let's say the other group, for example, donor email communication. Yeah, it's not there. I mean, it's basically Siva at Manchester. Yeah. So if I try to send an email to Siva at Manchester, I would still receive, provided you're actually using the donor communication as a group, or even the global, because I wouldn't have subscribed globally, right? So something called global unsubscribe, meaning you don't want to receive anything, or you want to receive, or you don't want to receive a specific email group communication. So for example, if you're trying to send an email, right, to that particular email address, let's say it's going to pick lead, and then I create a view, and I call this as Siva Manchester. And then I pick mail, say equals that, and save it. I have one lead in that, and then I would just say next. And I'm going to just say let's test email preferences, testing or something like that. And you say next. And if you're going to send this to a different group called donor email communication, right? And then rest I'll keep the same thing, and then I submit. So now I would receive an email just because I did not unsubscribe from that group, right? And also I will have an option to change my email preferences. So we just did this. The user will receive this, and then they can manage email preferences by clicking on that. And then they would have, this is still not unsubscribed. If I unsubscribe, let's say I say yes, I want to unsubscribe and say my preferences. And this gets stored back into Salesforce under that particular group, which is the donor email communication. We'll have a group unsubscribe record that gets created. It may take some time, sometimes a minute or so, in order for that particular email to reflect on this in the suppression list. Okay.
That's awesome, Siva. That's exactly what we're looking for, because before like there was only one unsubscribe option, and it would take somebody off of everything. And so then I would go to send them something that was very specific to them, but we would create it in MailChimp. And then they would tell us that they couldn't get it, even though they wanted to, because it was like there was only one option to unsubscribe. So that's amazing. Thank you.
Okay, all right. So yeah, you can see that it just popped up. It said group unsubscribe. So this gets unsubscribed. But if you actually go to the specific record, the right emphasis should be a lead. The email opt-out is still blank. I mean, it's not checked. So this is a global unsubscribe. So if I actually clicked on this, opt-out all mail, then it becomes a global unsubscribe, right? And that becomes email opt-out in Salesforce, and I would actually unsubscribe from every single email. That's the logic. Okay? And the status, like the unsubscribe event actually gets stored on the lead itself. Yeah, so if I go to, I know I have way too many here. Basically, it will come and then store the group unsubscribe just came through, you see, the event that I did earlier. And then after some time, maybe you will say unsubscribe, it came up, right? And if I go back to the lead, you can see that the email opt-out is checked. And it gets unsubscribed from all the emails going forward. So if you try to send an email again to this lead from the email wizard, and you pick the lead, and you say, hey, I actually want to select the Siva something that I created, I guess, Siva Mansa or something here. Mansa. And then it says no records to display, just because we auto suppress the email opt-out automatically so that you don't have to worry about it. Okay?
That's great. Thank you so much.
Okay. All right.
How about you guys want to touch on email statistics? Is that something that would be of value?
Yeah, reporting would be great. Thank you, Glenn.
Okay. So the reports are, again, pretty simple. Since it's a native Salesforce app, all you need to do is just go to reports and pick one of the reports that we have created already. But if you want to create your own, yeah, that's fine too. All you need to do is just go open. This is going to bring up the campaign report. And the one that we were trying is actually the wizard statistics. So if you click on this, this actually brings up all the mass emails that you would have sent to the wizard. And it creates, it actually shows up how many opens and clicks and all of that. And this actually gets stored here, MassMailer email statistics tab. So if you go there, you can actually open any email that you would have sent, the mass email that you would have sent, and you can actually see the statistics right here. So this is the real-time stats, and we also store it on the object. This takes a little bit of time to reflect these statistics because it's done in a batch mode. And same thing actually comes up on this report as well. And you have the similar kind of report even for the campaign. Yeah, so this is the campaign report. And again, you can see each campaign, you get the total number of bounces and clicks and opens and all of that. And you can drill down to the individual email status. I think this is more like a high level, and then drill down each status. But we have other reports that if you wanted to just report on only on leads or contacts, you want to group them together and look at each group of contacts and what they've done in various campaigns. You can do that. And I mean, you can build your own custom report too. So this is basically saying, hey, this contact and this is the mass email name. They have we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 emails, and then each and every campaign, what did this particular contact they did, and then if at all they clicked on something, we also flag what URL they clicked on, right? So this is a click event. and then you get the time as well. So we kind of get more granular if you wanted a report like this.
It's great. And the opposite of granular, in MailChimp, you can only do open and click-through rates for individual campaigns. Our KPIs are tied to monthly rates. Could you do an average of monthly open and click-through rates? Is there a way to customize that and do an average per month?
Average per month across all the campaigns, you mean?
For all the campaign or whatever campaigns that's tied to marketing, I guess we're set up in here.
Yeah, absolutely. So again, like all you're trying to do is you want to pick the, let's say you want to do it for, I mean, this is on contact, so you don't really have to do this. Let's say I'm going to build a brand new so that you can see how easy it is. Yeah. So MassMailer, email status. Okay, let's just say you want to report only on MassMailer email status, which is nothing but the event. And you say, I want to report on all, and then you say, hey, I want to see the date for the current month or something. This is year, quarter, say this month, right? And you get to see all the events. Let's do last month maybe. Last month, and let's see. Email, MassMailer report, sales report. Last month. Sorry. Okay. Created there. It's like what happened. Okay. So now let's just customize this. And if you wanted to find out what is the actual template subject, right? You get the template subject and actually know the date. If you wanted to bring in the date, you can bring in the date as well. That way you know. And then if you wanted to just group by the event, you can say, hey, I actually want to group by this particular field. And then it brings up the total, like, this is bounce. You will know the bounce event, various campaigns, and this is how many were bounced. So you get to customize this the way you want it, because these are all standard objects and fields in Salesforce. You can go very creative. I'm not that great at reporting, but I'm sure Glenn can help you to kind of customize this report the way you want it.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's a standard. If we're using, I mean, one of the nice things is that if it's in Salesforce, you can generally report on it. So then it's just a matter of customizing your reports to reflect the data points that you want to analyze.
Okay, so just to confirm, for everything he just pulled up, instead of just you would be able to do an average for me for a month.
Yeah.
For that. Oh wow, great. You can't do that in MailChimp, so that's awesome.
All right.
Thank you.
Any other features I can touch on? You want to see the email, the monitor?
The monitor, I think, is a good one. Yeah. Let's show them the monitor. That's also something that's pretty impressive.
Okay, cool. So before I demo this, let me kind of explain the email deliverability, right? So there are three things mainly that are important. One is, who are you sending this? Like, meaning the recipient list, how quality the list is. That's most important. And is your infrastructure ready? Meaning, like, you've set up with MassMailer and with the Sender platform. Make sure that you have all the email infrastructure authenticated properly. So, meaning, like, when you send out an email, it has to appear as if it's coming from your own domain. And the internet servers would also have to authenticate you and say that it's a legitimate domain and legitimate sender. So that's more like infrastructure. And we'll take care of it when we get you onboarded. And the third thing is the actual content itself, the content plus the layout. So how good your content is and how good the layout is. Is the layout, is the email template that you're sending out, is it good on all email clients such as Outlook, Yahoo, AOL, and other mobile devices? You want to know all of that. So you can do that kind of a test by creating a simple test. Let's say you pick up the sender email address, right? And let's say you're sending out to approximate 10,000. This is just an approximate list size, recipient list size. And then you are picking up a folder and a template that you want to test to see how good the, this may not be the best one to test. Maybe I should see if I can check from here, another HTML. Okay. So this is the HTML layout that we created. And I would click on this test email deliverability, right? And this is going to send an email behind the scenes to the engine that we work with. And it's going to analyze the email that you're sending. And it's going to refresh maybe in a few minutes. Sometimes it takes 3, 4, anywhere between 1 minute to 10 minutes, you will see the result. Once you see the results, how would it look? The way it looks is, so I'm going to copy this. Let's go back to the window and open this. Okay, so once you see the results, it's going to look something like this. It'll give you how deliverable your email is. So this says 82.32 deliverable, and rest is going to go to spam filter. And why is it going to go to spam filter? It'll also point out if there's any problem with the content, or the layout, or the links that you have, and it'll give you more information if it's a problem with the content. Let's say I have used some words like avoid in the subject, and it says, hey, this is one of the discouraged words, and we recommend something else. Since the what do you call, parsing English and recommending the right word is the toughest task, I would say, because it's a machine learning end of the day, right? So it may give you some words which may or may not make sense in the context. But you can always look at why is it discouraged, and what all words are discouraged, and what are the recommended words, and you can modify them if needed. Same thing, it goes to the content of your body, and then brings up anything that are like I have used spam in the body, and it says spam is not the right word to be used, right? And it'll give you suggestions if it finds anything, right? Same thing, any phrases if you have, it highlights them. And the layout, if there's an issue, it may highlight certain layout issues. And the links, I think, very important. If you have links that you're pointing to some external domains, you don't know how quality those domains are. And we kind of catch them if at all they're blacklisted. The other day we were working with a customer. They were using logo given by their marketing agency, and that agency actually posted that logo in some other website. They never realized that domain is blacklisted. So they've been sending emails for years and years, and they have had issues with the spam complaints and stuff. So it's always good to really look at that. And the infrastructure, again, since you're going to go with us, we'll make sure that it's all green for you. Even while at the time of onboarding, SPF and DKM. But as you're sending emails, you will build your own reputation for the domain and IP. Anytime something happens, something wrong happens to your IP address, you would actually see that in the blacklist. This is called a blacklist, and this is whitelist. You would see that if at all it gets into your blacklist. And same thing with the SPF and DKM, if at all there's any problem. You never know if your IT team is changing something that you're not aware. That may affect your own deliverability. It shows up right there. same thing with the compliance. Nowadays, the compliance is a big thing, and you want to make sure that you don't have anything that's beyond the compliance rules that are set by the regions like Europe and Canada and US. And previews is the most important thing, maybe. So when you're sending out email, you want to see how good these emails are going to be on various clients. Even though we have preview in the template builder, but that's only like across the board. So it won't really show you each client how is it going to look like. So for example, Apple client, how is it going to look like when you send those emails? And it shows in real time. This is not like we render this on these devices and show you the real time thing. And then you can request for more. For example, you think, hey, I may have clients who are actually using AOL Chrome. You can request for that, and then it takes some time to load it up and make sure that the actual layout is good. Same thing with the desktop clients and the mobile clients. Okay. So this is called email monitor feature, and that comes as an add-on. So I think this is done. The process is done for what we did, and you can see that it's poor. It's not really optimized because this is a demo instance. Not everything is good in the demo instance. It may have certain issues. For example, DMARC is not set properly, and it shows up what the problem may be for the DMARC. And SPF and DCAM is good. And then the content has certain issues. It's going to highlight what those issues are. So all of that good stuff, you can actually see this, visually before sending out the template. Okay.
Great, thank you.
Yeah. And then we got a lot more features. Again, I mean, Glenn knows pretty much the end-to-end product features. So I'm happy to cover any of them if you have any questions or. Glenn, anything else?
No, I think
cover today?
I think that covers pretty much everything. If James and Karen, are you good with?
Mm-hmm.
Do you have any questions?
I just have one quick question. So if it's like any group that we've created in Salesforce, like for example, we have like Trek groups. So it's anybody that's traveling to one of our countries to build a school, and we've like formed a group for them. I can just upload that group's email addresses by like choosing them to send an email to.
So anyone in Salesforce, let's say you upload the email list to Salesforce, they're actually subscribed to all the groups by default. What we track is who actually unsubscribed. So when you're trying to import like certain lists who do not want to receive emails for that specific group, those ones you can actually import. I can go through that. It's not technical though.
I'm just like, I just wondered like how, because like right now it's really hard because I have to like go and like run a report in Salesforce, pull all the email addresses from a group, then copy and paste those like into a MailChimp email list. So I was just wondering if there was like an easier way to take a list of people in Salesforce that we like already have segmented as a group and just get those people straight to like send an email just to them.
Oh yeah. Oh, okay. You're talking about segmentation. Yes, segmentation is done the standard way. So if you go to Salesforce, let's say you have a field on leader or contact. It could be called as a group. I don't know how you segregate them, segment them. Let's say you have a field that actually called group, and you want to report on that group. All you have to do is filter those contacts using the wizard, right? That's one way to do it. Again, I can cover the campaign feature as well. So you go to contact and say, I want to filter my, the group contact, right? And then you pick whatever the filter may be, right? Let's say this is the group name, yeah? And you say my group name. And then you bring out those contacts into this field. And that's what your list view is going to be.
Okay, that's awesome. Thank you.
Yeah.
That was
Sure.
the only other
And-
question I had.
Okay. One thing I think when you're switching from MailChimp to MassMailer, if at all somebody unsubscribed already, I don't know if you have them flagged in Salesforce or not. If they have global unsubscribed, that's something you can do at one time. Going to contact list or lead list, and make sure that you check this flag called email opt-out to true. That's for the global unsubscribe.
Yeah,
But
we
if
have
mail-
something like that. Like if somebody unsubscribes, it takes them out globally right now.
Okay. So then, would you be able to figure out who unsubscribed from a specific group or no?
Like in MailChimp, if I try to send a message, it will just say like this email address doesn't work or it's like invalid or something like that if they've unsubscribed. But I think
Okay.
if we have a way to like have people determine what they want to unsubscribe to, that will solve that problem for us because people don't generally want to unsubscribe to things that are like personal to them, like
Yeah.
a picture of a school that they helped build. So
Sure.
it shouldn't be an issue anymore now that it's not global.
Yeah. I mean, if it is global right now, I think you can start from scratch, meaning like put them in the list and then let them unsubscribe once again. And that gets stored automatically in Salesforce.
Okay, good. So it would like kind of undo that past like a global
Right.
subscribe. Okay, that's awesome. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Do you guys use opportunities for donations, or how do you track donations? Is it through opportunity objects?
Yeah, we do. Yeah,
We do
we do that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we do new campaigns.
Yeah. Yes, that's correct.
Okay.
Connected to Classy too for
Okay.
donations.
Okay. I mean, just want to show you one more feature. Like if you ever want to send out emails to opportunities, we have a feature called email via MassMailer under opportunities. So you just want to click on that button, and this sends an email to the contact roles though. So again, I don't know if you're using contact role today. If you are, this is one good way to leverage this feature. Send out email to the specific contact role. You can add CC and to, and then rest is all the same. Like you just select a template and schedule it in a specific time, date and time. So this is another feature that we have through which you can send email to opportunity objects. Okay.
The other nice thing about this platform is that it can be integrated with something you guys probably are not familiar with, which is called Process Builder in Salesforce. So as an example, we built last week a test model by which someone would go into a form and they would put in their name, first name, last name, email address, and then the donor amount. So dependent upon the donor amount, via Process Builder says, okay, if the donor amount is 1,000 to 5,000, send this email template. If the donor amount is 5,000 to 10,000, send this different template. Or
Oh, that's
if the
awesome.
donor amount is 10,000 or above, send this email template. So in terms of one of the reasons that I initially got involved with MassMailer is I had a very, very difficult email process to put together based on a host of parameters that I had to build into Process Builder for our development team at the San Francisco Zen Center. And it incorporated a lot of logic and different parameters, data points that had to be all knitted together in Process Builder to send a specific template based on the person being 30 days out from an email had to go out 30 days before, reminding them to their membership. If they didn't respond to that email, Then 15 days before the expiration of their renewal for membership, another email went out. And then one day after, another email reminder went out. So I had to build this in Process Builder, and this was only possible to actually send those emails out by using MassMailer and its Apex programming capability to actually build the Apex programming on the fly. So that's how we, and Steve and I initially met, was working on that project, and he was able to do that, which was not possible through any other mass mailing program. Hello?
That's really cool, Glenn. I like that.
Yeah, so, I mean, the drill down capability.
That would be really helpful.
Yeah, here's Steve is showing us an example right now of how this can integrate with Process Builder.
Cool. Thank you.
So as you can see, as Steve is going through this, this is what's known as Process Builder in Salesforce. It allows you to build various types of functionality into Salesforce to sort of send information out or process information based on a slew of parameters. That's not something you can do with any of the other mail. You can't do it with Constant Contact. You can't do it with, with MailChimp. It's because none of those can generate the Apex calls.
Yeah. And you can also do like series of emails. Let's say you want to send out a drip campaign, like a sequence of emails. You can do that through the campaign member object. So you say campaign member, and they belong to a specific campaign. And I want to send out a series of emails, such as, immediately don't do anything, but after an hour, I want to invoke drip 1, and 5 days after drip 2. You can add multiple other actions too. And drip 1 is nothing but another process. So if you go to the drip 1, it would just have a simple email with a criteria. The campaign member belongs to a specific campaign. You can add any criteria that you wanted. In this example, it says new, and you send out drip 1, and it shows, okay, who you want to send from and what template that you're going to use. So that's how you can actually send out a series of emails as well. Okay.
So that's another way that MassMailer integrates very, very, very well with Salesforce.
It's great. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. Okay.
That's all very good. I don't have any more questions, Karen or Holly Ann.
I don't have any more.
No, I'm good. Thank you.
That was a very nice demo. Thank you, Siva.
Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Appreciate it. And thank you for setting this up. Really
Yeah,
appreciate
thank
it.
you, Glenn.
Oh, you're welcome. No problem. I'm very happy to do it.
Sure.
Amazing. Okay. Well, take care, everyone.
Yeah, take care, everyone. Bye.
Okay.
Bye.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank
Thanks,
you so
Siva.
much, Johnny. Yeah. Thank you, Glenn, for coordinating.
My pleasure, Siva.
Yeah. Take care,
Take care.
Glenn. We'll catch up again.
Yep, I'll
Yeah.
talk with you soon.
Take care. Yeah.
I'll talk with you
Bye-bye.
tomorrow.
Have a good day. Sure.
All right, great. Thanks,
Oh,
guys.
yeah. Wonderful. Thank you so much. Take care.
All right. Bye.
Bye.